Hi, it's Marissa, MKissa Creations here on YouTube, also known as Flosstube, where we talk about cross stitch and other stitchy stuff. And I am also MKissa Creations over on Instagram. Please feel free to join me on either platform. I would love to hear from you. Welcome if you are new, and welcome back if you are a returning subscriber. I appreciate all of you coming to join me and talk about stitching for the day. I worked on a lot of whips this week. This is my first Flosstube of 2026, and I am so pumped to get started on this new year. In my whip parade, which I posted on January 1st, I mentioned a couple of projects that I wanted to get done this year, and I got to working on them. If you have not checked out that whip parade yet, please do so. I would love for you to see the whole breadth of the projects that I work on. I'm a very random stitcher, and I stitch on a lot of different designers, and I stitch a lot of different subjects and different styles. So I hope that within my collection you can find something that you enjoy and want to see progress on and come back to visit me again and again. New Year life update. We are back at school. We had 2 full weeks off of school, and then the girls had a snow day on their 3rd day back. So that was kind of a little bit of a wrench as far as home life goes, just trying to get back into the swing of things and just immediately getting thrown back out of it. But we pivot and we adjust, and we're doing all right. The girls are back at school, happy as can be. One of them did not want to go back. The other one was very happy to go back. They're still kind of in that same little bubble of enjoyment of school that they were in when school started up again. We are, let's see, having kind of nice weather today in Maine. I am in southern coastal Maine, so we don't get as extreme unless it's a nor'easter that's like really slamming the coast. Otherwise, it tends to be a little bit warmer here than it does in the rest of the state, which is quite nice. Today we are at 43 degrees, which feels warm. I am in short sleeves in my house, and the heater is not on at the moment, so I guess we're kind of weird here, but it feels warm at 43 degrees. The girls went to school in sweatshirts today instead of their jackets. They have their jackets for just in case, but it is definitely a bit on the warmer side. We are supposed to cool down again and get some more snow, but as of right now, things are looking good. So what did I do? Well, it was snowing on January 1st, as I had mentioned in my whip parade. So the first thing that I got to stitching this year was my snow day project, which is Shores of Hawkran Hollow. This is my second oldest whip, although plans update. I know I said I was enjoying my oldest whip still and considering keeping it in my whip pile, but I am really reconsidering. I think probably inspired by Stephanie Cross Stitch the Globe. She did a trends video, and she talked about people kind of like abandoning projects or finishing projects kind of where they were to move on and to stitch the next thing that was more of their interests. And I really took that to heart. That stitch, I have a lot of Halloween stitches. That's probably my most decorated holiday as far as stitching goes. And that one doesn't really fit. It's not really my vibe. It was magazine start, so I don't even have any bad feelings about purchasing a pattern and spending a lot of money. It's on fabric that I dyed, so I think that one is going to the wayside. So now my snow day project will be my oldest whip, since I am UFOing that I think it's called Midnight Ride, and I think I'm done with it. I think I want to make space in my whip list for projects that I really love and really enjoy stitching on, and I'm really going to enjoy having up in my house. So in case you don't know what it looks like, most likely you do, but Shores of Hawkran Hollow is by Carriage House Samplings. I will post a picture of the finish right here, and I will show you where I was at in my whip parade this year, and then I am going to show you where I'm at now. So I got pretty much all the windows, I think, on this house put in. I got the house completely built, so the roof is on, and I just need to stitch mostly white on this. The house is white, and then there's some little white accents that go up here, and then this will be done. And that house seemed really laborious and a little scary, but now that the windows are in, there's not as much stitching that's gonna have to go in it. The door's in, the window's in, the trees are in, so it's just a fill-in project, and that is gonna be set for the next snow day. So waiting on some of that brown cold stuff, that white cold stuff to do a bunch of white stitching, and I am totally pumped to get this block done. Getting a block done this early in the year is just gonna really feel good. I'm gonna get to move over to the last block in the top row, which also feels really awesome. And getting 2 blocks finished in a year will be amazing. Getting 3 done would be amazing. So we'll see how much snowy weather we get, and then as far as plans go, we'll see if I have had enough of it after the winter to wait until after the summer, or if it will become a precipitation day project in the summer. Sometimes we get a lot of rain here in Maine, especially coastal Maine in the summertime. 2 years ago, it rained every day in July, so I don't know if having this as a precipitation day project would be that amazing of an idea. I might get a little tired of it, but this is where that is at, and I got quite a bit of progress on it. It was, let's see, 3 days of stitching progress I worked on this Shores of Hawkran Hollow. The next project I picked up was one that I talked about finishing this year. I am finishing the Lilies. This is Consider the Lilies from Heartstring Samplery. Beck Stitches Everything mentioned in one of her plans videos that she was getting ready to finish it, and she put her final date on it. And so I joined in with her and put 2026 on it along with my initials, because I had the little wreath area filled out that you put your initials and the date in, and so I just added them right into there and said, let's go. So I'm going to show you where this was during my whip parade and show you what 6 days of stitching on Consider the Lilies brought me. Now, I don't only stitch on one project some days. Sometimes I bop around. So the 6 days was not completely and totally stitching. Plus I work full-time and have 2 children and a husband and cats that I feed and care for. So not all the way done, but here, oh, I forgot my little clippy things today. I was talking about how amazing those were in my whip parade, and then I didn't bring them with me. So I worked on all of here. So I'm gonna give myself some space to leave that picture in where you can see where it was, but I filled in a bunch up here, and then I've worked on this area right here. This fabric is really slippery. So what we're gonna do is, man, I lose boards like crazy. Okay, we're gonna make this less slippery, because if I put this little tiny board here, I will be able to hold it better, and it will show pretty much all of what I stitched. Okay, so again, here's where it was. I was able to fill in a bunch up here. I stitched 3 lilies, and then I started up here. So I've done this, the turkey. This little tree right here, and then I started working on this one. So I need to put the little flowers into that one. But the last couple days I've been working in this area. Last Wednesday was when I finished out this bottom portion, and I am chugging along. So I am enjoying this a lot. It feels really good to be getting close as I am. I am keeping this around. I'm not going to stitch on it every single day, but I am going to try to finish this by my birthday, which is March 5th. So this is really progressing towards that finish line, and I am totally pumped on finishing the lilies. All right, before we get into the next whips that I worked on, I wanted to share with you some floss tubers. One is a brand new floss tuber. That is Clover Hop Stitching, Krista. She has now her plans video up and her first floss tube video up, and I'm pretty sure there's a whip parade coming, and she is just a joy. I was Instagram communication with her, and then I got to meet her at Jingle Ball and stitch with her in a stitchy room for a while. And now I get to interact with her on this platform as well, which is a total joy. So if you have not checked her out yet, please go and check her out. Give her the new floss tuber love. She made some great videos, and I am so excited to have her here. So welcome, Krista, Clover Hop Stitching, to the floss community. Floss tube community, you are so welcome here and so appreciated, and I'm so excited to have you. And then I have two new to me floss tubers that I am sort of upset with the YouTube algorithm for keeping them from me for this long. They are Jess at Sloan Stitches, and I was watching her whip parade and just sitting there going, can we be friends? We should be friends. Her stitching, we have a lot in common stitching wise. Her personality seems super awesome, and we have common interests outside of the stitching world. So I was just so excited to find her, and she's stitching on Medicine and Poison, and her fabric for that is to die for. So please go check out Sloan Stitches. I love it. I'm so excited. I am happy that the algorithm brought me to her finally, but I feel like it took too long. And then the other one was Those Missing Stitches, Lynn. She has a lot of beautiful stitches. She's also a fabric dyer, though she's not dyeing fabric currently, but her fabric looks beautiful. So I'm kind of upset that I had not found her so far. So this is why I am sharing today, because I just really, who are you watching? Who are you loving? Who do you think I would love that you like watch and think that I would also enjoy watching? There's so many floss tubes out there right now that sometimes it can get a little daunting to find new people and find those people that you connect with and find the people who you have stitching in common with and similar tastes. Sometimes I watch people who I don't stitch the same things as because I love their personality. Sometimes I watch people because their personality, it doesn't, I mean, not that I don't like their personality, but like their personality is great, but like their stitching is what I really want to see. Sometimes I just watch people that I've been watching for a really long time because I'm invested in their stitching. So I want to find more people, new people that bring value essentially to my Flosstube viewing, because I have been consuming Flosstube like wildfire. Pretty much that's what I've been watching. I have headphone in my ear and Flosstube on while I'm stitching, and I'm looking up to see what you're stitching and what you're showing and learning about new stitchers. So those are the three stitchers that I wanted to mention today that are here on Flosstube that I really think that you should check out. And let's get back to those whips. All right. So next I stitched on Cryptid SAL from the Witchy Stitcher. This is a SAL from 2019 maybe? it's an older one. She also did in the same design a Supernatural SAL that is sort of similarly laid out with different creatures. But here is where this was at, and here is where it is now. And so I added the Kraken, and I have 3 more cryptids to fill in, and then I will be done. This is on Christmas Gold from Colour Cotten in 32 count. It's stitched 2/2. It is a floss eater of black, but I have my cone of doom right there. And I am loving it. This is getting really close to a finish. This took me 2 days of stitching. I started a little bit on there, did the skulls underneath and this little skull on top. So it was intermixed with other projects, or another I think I stitched on maybe Lilies on the same day too, but got some serious progress as far as how much closer I am now to finishing that project. We're so close. We're so close on, I mean, consider Lilies is not that close, but in the grand scheme of how large the project is, I feel like it's fairly close now. And I am barreling towards a finish. I've got some plans for March that I'll kind of hint at and talk about a little bit. For my birthday month, I am turning 44 this year. I feel like that's a special year. So we're going to really put some whips into place that I love, that I want to stitch, that I want on my walls. And I have a lot of those, but I want some more. I was at the very beginning of the year, plans changed so fast. I was like, okay, I'm going to whip down, but I'm going to whip down these big projects and replace them, essentially, is what's going to happen. And then there is still the unknown of what is going to come out at market. So we really shall see what kind of plans come from that. The next thing I worked on is that I wanted to get a full coverage into the mix. And so I worked on Tiki Beach Sunset. This is artwork by Aimee Stewart. And this is currently my largest project. It is now at 51,571 stitches out of 362,408. It is at 14.23%. I put in 1,522 stitches since the last time you saw it, over 2 days. And here is it as a whole. And then I'm going to kind of show you a cropped version of where it was and where I added stitches. If I can figure out how to hold it. I can. It'll just take me a second. Let's get this into a way that makes it easier. All right, so we're gonna put this cropped version of where it was. So I worked all in this area down here. Got that tree trunk really going, got some more of the water, the reflection underneath the sunset happening. And I think maybe did a little bit down there too. So the way I stitched on full coverage is I just pick a floss and then kind of stitch it out. And sometimes I will add on another of the same color if there's more in that same area that I didn't quite get to that I just want to fill in, so I don't have to put the floss away and come back to it. Kind of just a really random stitcher as far as that goes, is what color I have out, what color is gonna give me some progress. Do I need to fill in some little ninja stitches before I get going? I don't stitch on gridded fabric, so I usually need like a solid counting point to go from, so it varies on my comfortability with how far I'm willing to stitch out from where I am and where I was. And I do make mistakes. I sometimes end up having to frog little sections of stitching. If I make a single ninja stitch mistake, Ninja Stitch is like a stitch that's kind of like all by itself in the middle of nowhere. Oftentimes I will just either stitch the top, restitch the top leg of it in the right color, or just restitch a cross right on over it and in the correct color. And you can't usually tell, and it works pretty well. This is 25 count lugana. I am stitching it 1/1 full cross, and everyone in my family absolutely loves when this comes out. They love when I take it off the Q-snap and you can see really the pictures start to come to life. And it is stitched all the way over to this edge and all the way down to the bottom. And I'm getting close to like having a good chunk filled in around the halfway point on this side, which I'm really excited about also. Okay. Next, I did one monster day. It was either Saturday or Sunday, football playoffs. It was Saturday, football playoffs. Had my spot on the couch and decided to pick up another project that I would like to get off of my WIP list this year. I really like it, but it's a big one and it's taking up space and it's time to move along. So that is 324 by Works by ABC. This project uses 324 colors of DMC floss, and I added 19 motifs. So I'll put a picture of where this was at my WIP parade 2 weeks ago. And here's where it is now. Actually, I'll put the picture over here so you can see them at the same time. So this is where I'm at. Getting pretty close to the 75% mark. I am pumped. This is so pretty. I love the color scheme of this. I stitched this in hand, so I will jump around. I will refold and crumble my fabric. It's definitely going to need to be washed afterwards because of the stitching in hand, even with washing my hands ahead of time. But it is just, So I am chugging along on this. I am keeping this in the living room, and I will maybe have another football stitching day of this piece and putting more and more and more and more. It feels like 19 didn't really like go that far, but then at the same time it did. It feels like this project can feel like a lot of progress and a little progress all at the same time. All right, and then the last project I worked on, I actually forgot, flung it to the ground. I actually forgot to put it in my WIP parade, and I think that's because it's gift stitching, and I don't know, I didn't put it in there. But this is Nevermore by Satsuma Street. It is an ornament. It is a gift for my sister. I need to get it done. But without carpool stitching, carpool pickup line stitching, I did not have a ton of, I didn't put a ton of stitches into it. So I picked this up on Monday at carpool pickup and added some more of the black in this top portion up here. This is stitched on the kit perforated paper with the kit DMC floss and the kit needle. I've had too much coffee this morning, so I'm a little wiggly. Yeah. Those are my stitches. I have one piece of haul to show you, and it kind of segues into my plans. So I got a little bit of birthday money, and to make a little bit go a long way, and after stitching on the cryptids and re-falling in love with Medicine and Poison, who doesn't need a little bit more Witchy Stitcher in their life? So I picked up Witchy Stitching. This is the book that Meg Black put out last year, and there are 25 patterns in this, and you can pick this book up, let's see what the, $22. So that's less than $1 a pattern, and that is unreal. It is a gorgeous book, first of all, and I guess I didn't pay attention when people did their flip throughs of this, probably because I knew I would want to buy it right away, and this is a treat for me, and so I hadn't bought it. But like this Carnivorous Plants cross stitch is definitely going to happen. This will be what I start after I finish the Spring Bulbs new shoots. I feel like I only need one plant project going on at a time. As far as, like, I feel like they're kind of similar, but very much not at the same time. One of them is Emma Congdon, which I feel like is bright and bubbly, and then this other one is Witchy Stitcher, which is dark and a little bit morbid and makes me really happy. But the main reason that I bought this book is for part of my March plans. And I am going to stitch Memento Mori, and I am going to figure out, oh, I actually have a piece of murky. I don't know if the murky might be too dark for this. The piece that I have might be too dark for this. But I am going to stitch Memento Mori. And I'm going to host a birthday sal. It's not going to be a moth birthday sal. It's not going to be a Witchy Stitcher birthday sal. It is going to be a kind of build a vignette birthday sal. I have a couple moth patterns that I would like to stitch, and I would like to build a moth wall at my house. And I know that Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe has a celestial wall for her bedroom in the works. I know that there are people that have tombstone walls in the works. I know that there are people that have themed dough bowls that they're working on. So this is a opportunity to work on building a collection that you have of cross stitches. So I'm going to be starting quite a few moth patterns, or patterns that feature moths, in March. I will put out a hashtag and a little Instagram photo with some of the details on it when we get a little bit closer, but I just wanted to show this piece of haul and kind of announce that this sal was coming, and I hope that you join me and give you a little time to think about, you know, do you want to add something to your sampler wall? Do you just want to work on your sampler patterns for your sampler wall? Do you want to work on tombstones? Do you want to start a new tombstone? Do you want to start a new celestial pattern? And then tell me, what collection of patterns do you keep in your house? Are you working on, let's see, one of my friends has a family sampler wall. Who has that? Missy from Two Needles Pulling Thread has a wall in her guest room that is all samplers that are like family-based samplers. So what kind of wall, what kind of basket, what kind of vignette are you building in your house that you would like to add to or work on during this sal? Let me know. We are going to rock it and add a beautiful corner of our home and really get going. And I will show you all my moth patterns in a future video, but that is the one I'm going to start with, and that is the reason I bought Meg's book. But I also am absolutely in love with plenty of the patterns in here, and you really can't beat a buck a pattern for as much beautiful work as she does. And when my husband saw this book, he was like, "What is that? Did you get a picture book?" And I was like, "It is a pattern book." And he was like, "That is absolutely amazing." So appreciation from all corners of the family on this one. And I am going to run out of time and camera battery, and so I will leave you all with that. I hope you have a lovely couple of weeks of stitching, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye.